So thank you for very nice, and kind introduction. My topic is very different than all the scholarly talks you have heard this time. आपको क्या अच्छा लगा कि आप इधर आ जाइए क्योंकि देख पाएंगे कि पीछे ऊपर क्या है क्योंकि it'll be very hard to turn your head. So it's a very different topic. My topic is on mental health and how Vedic scriptures help us with the living in a good mental health. So as you can see, the title of the topic is Living in the Reality of Present with Vedic Teachings to Calm the Mind and Make Us More Peaceful and Happier. So this is somewhat different. So in Hindi bhasha mein agar kahein, first of all, let me say, what do we mean by reality of present? Present, it means that look at your current circumstances and with that, live a good life or a sattvic life, as we'll say in Hindi, and not live in dreams of the past or memories of the past, nor live in daydreams of future or unrealistic expectation. तो अगर हिंदी भाषा में उसको कहेंगे तो वर्तमान के परिस्थितियों को देख के सात्विक जीवन जियो, ना पुरानी कहानियों में जियो, ना भविष्य के हवाई किलों में रहो. तो टॉपिक उसका शीर्षक उसका ये हैगा. सो नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. So I have taken there'll be three main topics or three main themes of this one. How Ved mantras can help us live in the reality of present, both in daily living, and then we can talk about a very subtle level also. Second thing, which is very important I want to get across is mindfulness is very popular these days to calm the mind, but there are major differences between mindfulness and our Vedic concept of yoga. Mindfulness is not same as we have Vedic teachings. And I'll come up to the difference. Where is the big difference between mindfulness and that? Now, I don't want to denigrate mindfulness. For a lot of people in modern society who never focus on anything, mindfulness is very helpful. But our Vedic teachings are way, way beyond that. And I'll show you the differences as we go along. I have 53 slides there, so I cannot cover all of them today. I put down my email address, askpublications@yahoo.com. I'll be happy to send my slides to anybody who wants. They're all available to anybody who wants them. So the third thing is Patanjali Yoga is about living in the reality of present at a subtle level. And once you get into that, that is when you start to accomplish peace, harmony, bliss. And that is the goal of Patanjali Yoga versus mindfulness, is just to start focusing on your breathing. There's a huge difference, and I'll come to a little more on that. Next slide. So before I move on, I just want to thank Swamiji. Swami Dayanandji, he's the person I've respected most in my life, all my life, since I've been, conscious enough to know what is right, what is wrong, because he gave us Ved translations in simple language of Hindi, which people could understand. That was the greatest gift he had given to whole India and the whole world, I would say. So this is starting with thanks to Swamiji. Next slide. Next slide. So generally we say, slogan in Arya Samaj is back to the Vedas. That's what Swamiji said. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That's a great slogan. But Swamiji's message was not only back to the Vedas. He said, move forward with the Vedas. That was his more stronger message. And how do you move forward is to live where you are, learn from the Vedas, and move forward, looking at the circumstances of the present. So I think this is Swamiji's whole message was to live in the present and not live in the past. I think we have to move forward with whatever Vedas have said. So I've always looked at Swamiji saying both back to the Vedas and forward with the Vedas. That's the way I looked at his message. Next slide, please. So coming to stress, anxiety, restlessness, depression, these are very common problems of humanity. They've been there with us for a long, long time. So this is not new. But so I'll go on to Vedas, how they present to be more peaceful with Vedic teachings. Next slide. So first thing I want to say at the very beginning, the Vedic Dharam is an Ashavadi Dharam. It's not a Nirashavadi Dharam. So that's something we should always keep in mind. It's always hope. And as long as you're alive, you can always, with your last breath even, you can move forward. Keep that in mind. And that is what Vedas teach us all the time. Next slide. So this is what we teach. Kurvanev karmani, until you keep doing good deeds, and this is the way you should live your life. And only way you can live good life is to live in the present reality, not living in past dreams, nor living in unrealistic future plans. Next slide. So next we can move on that. So this is the slide which I'm bringing up, which basically says Ved Mantra. So my focus is what do Ved Mantras say about living in reality of present. This says, Yatte bhutam cha bhavyam cha manojagam durgam tat avartyamasi ikshaya givse. So next slide, I'll have its meaning a little bit more in detail. Next slide. So yatte mana, that your mind, jagam durgam, which means which wanders far and wide, bhutam cha into the past, and bhavyam cha the future too. Tat te mana, that your mind, bring it back, or what avartam means bring it back or turn it around. Ikashaya means steady it here to live in the present. Jeev says, so you may have a long, peaceful, and worthy life. So this is what this mantra says. The next slide. Next slide. So this Tat Avartya Masi Ishai is there in all the 12 months of this soup of Rigved. So this Ved mantra basically, and all of them is said, whenever your mind wanders, bring it back to the reality of present. This is what it's saying over and over and over. And then it gives you examples in these 12 months where your mind may wander. It may wander into the past. It may wander into fears of death. It may wander into the mountains, into the oceans. So it gives 12 examples in those 12 months where your mind may wander. But then it says, always bring it to the reality of present. Don't live in the past, nor live in the future. You should steady your mind into the present. Next slide. So how do people live in the past? So people live in two ways in the past, especially when we get old, it even is more it happens. So people spend most of the time, and if it gets really, really bad in psychology or in psychiatry, they call it perseverate. In the daydream or past memory, it can be both good and bad. It can be happy or sad. And second is people think of regrets. What if I had done this? What if I had done that? And what my life might have been? It doesn't matter what it might have been. It is what it is now. You have to live with the present. I think that is what focus should be on. So this leads to disappointment and depression. And in Yoga Darshan, this is called Klishta. I think this is what you have to keep in mind. This is what Yoga Darshan teaches us. You have to overcome these Klishta vrittis. So on the other hand, I don't want to give anybody the idea you should learn from your past. Learning from the past, especially your mistakes, however, it's crucial to live rightly in the present. Learn from your mistakes, don't repeat them, and move on doing the right things in the present. Next slide. Some persons, especially when they're young, spend most of the time in the daydreams of unrealistic, lofty plans for the future, while forgetting the reality of their present situation. So Maharishi Dayanand gives a very good example with Anand of Sheikh Chili, who's dreaming of all kinds of things which are totally out of reality. So I think there are a lot of stories. Actually, Vyavhar Bhanu is a wonderful book with children to read, because half of his stories basically, when you look at the very simple stories that which teach a lot, and some plan, for example, if I win the lottery, I'll do this, do that. Chances of winning a lottery is about 1 in 150 million. So that's not the way people should plan their life. That's what I'm trying to say. They live in reality of the present. But again, you should plan. I'm not trying to say don't plan for the future, but do realistic plans, which you can really accomplish. So both learn from the past, plan something for the future, but always live in the reality of the present. Next slide. So who can help me live in the present? And the most important part is you yourself, not somebody else. For most people in our daily living, you are the most important person. And there I'll come back to both Swadhyaya becomes very, very important there. Second is the reminder mantras. And I'll come back to reminder mantras because many times in Arya Samaj, people laugh at other religious groups that they tell you a mantra to remember. I think if it's done, to give you a wrong mantra, for example, is bad. But on the other hand, if a guru looks at the student and realizes this person's personality is such and such, and this mantra to remind him whenever he goes on the wrong path, they should remember that in their head. Remember, God is everywhere. Just two simple things. Only if you remember, meaning that He's your protector and who is always present everywhere. These are simple things to remember. And whenever your mind wanders, bring it back to reality. So that way, reminder mantras are not bad. I think they got a bad name because a lot of gurus have done wrong service and wrong use of those reminder mantras. Then prayer, say on that side. Sorry. Then prayer to Ishwar is very important. I'll come back to that. Then there are a lot of people who can help you, like their-like persons, priests, sannyasi, family members, and lots of all have become physicians, psychiatrists. Now, I have to be very clear, I'm a physician by training. And if there is depression, real depression, and severe enough, all those things will not help. You need a real person who can help you. I won't focus on that today, but that is what I want to remind. If you have real problems, you need a real person who needs who's trained to help you also. But coming back to, for most of us in daily living, self-help is probably the most important part. Next slide. I'm moving a little fast, but I hope you can still follow what I'm saying. So I said, the most important person is yourself. And the most important thing in yourself, you have to realize your Atma, your soul is the master and not your mind. Your soul is the master of your mind. And once you recognize that, you can control where your mind wanders. The moment you realize your mind is the master, then the whole ball game is different. But when you realize your soul can always control, then I think you can start controlling and bringing that mind back to our Theamasi, as we said, bring it back to reality of present. And I think I always say everyone is capable of success, and time is never too late. Wherever you are, start from there and bring it back. But it does require determination. Sanskrit will say drit sankalp, that you want to achieve that. You have to make a determination that you want to bring it back. If you do that, then you'll succeed. And that old saying, God helps those who help themselves, is very practical then, that if you make a determination you want to succeed, you will succeed. Next slide. So second next important part is reflection, which is what Swadhyaya has many meanings. But also one meaning of Swadhyaya is also looking at yourself. Swadhyaya. Look at yourself. So look every evening, morning, whatever time suits you, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? And after determining which activities are right, which are wrong, make up your mind which calm my mind, which agitate them, and then focus on what activities calm your mind, and then start living with them. Don't just remember them. You have to make practically in your daily life. And that's what I meant by start living in the present and start applying them in your daily life. Next slide. So I think the goals of present living. So I then thought, what else can we add? So this is my discussion with Acharya Ganeshwar. He said, not only have to do that, you have to keep in mind that, it also includes good sattvic eating habits, good sleeping habits, physical exercise, select a job which you enjoy, virtuous interaction with others, and then add Ishwar Upasana, and again, daily introspection. Next slide. Now, this is something which I planned on my own. Then I thought, let me see what does the internet tell me. And I was very surprised, actually, the NIH, which is, our national body, the highest body for health. And this is advice that came from National Institute of Health. How can I take care of my mental health? Self-care means taking time to do things that help you live well, both in your physical health, mental health. This can help you manage stress, hobby, And so next slide I will move on. So as you can notice, it starts with again, get regular exercise. This is about mental health, and I keep saying, remember that. Eat healthy regular meals, stay hydrated, make sleep a priority, then say find a relaxing activity, set goals and priorities, and practice gratitude, focus on positivity. So this is what is very similar to what we have been teaching for a long time, I think. I think next slide, we can skip this. So let me go to mindfulness, because after that, my time is out. So mindfulness, this is a description from internet, for example, of mindfulness. Mindfulness is focusing on the breath, paying close attention to sensations of inhaling and breathing. So, I think in our practice, we sometimes say focus on breath in your nostril. This is what it's saying, it's very similar. Then we say observing thoughts and feelings, noting thoughts as they arise, and without getting caught up in them. Third is scanning the body, whether the body is relaxed. I think this is where our biggest difference comes from Vedic Dharam, from modern mindfulness. It's accepting experiences, observing thoughts, feeling sensation without trying to suppress or change them. This is where we differ totally. If you're getting all bad thoughts while you're trying to do mindfulness, that is not mindful, that is not yoga practice at all. Yoga is got very, very clear that don't let any bad thoughts come in your mind. As soon as they come, try to remove that. Acharya Ganeshwari says, even you can course your mind. I'm using my Hindi course. Say yourself, don't let this bad thought come into mind. And that's a huge difference in mindfulness versus, I think, in yoga practice. So next slide. So this is what I'm saying, the roots of yoga in yam niyam, not in, whatever you feel like, whatever comes in your mind is fine while you're trying to calm the mind. And it says, as soon as preventing bad thoughts coming from your mind, whereas mindfulness allows all kinds of thoughts, without trying to suppress or change them, accepting them as they come with no judgment. Vedic health is very clear, teaches it takes away path of bad thoughts as soon as they arise in the mind, because they create future reactions solve the vasana. And this is a very, very big difference I want to clarify. Next slide. So this is a very one which I try to remind myself. This one you may not guess, maybe next one you will be, I will say. Paying Mansate Atra Prasha Paro Nirtya Adaksh Bahuda Jito. We say that person is trying to reform himself herself to change the direction of his mind from wrong to the right, to strengthen his minds by such a month. So next slide. Basically say that as soon as the bad something comes to mind, try to move it away. Think of what the long-term consequences are going to be. So we can skip the next slide. This mantra you may be more familiar, Paropahi Manas Pate, but I'll skip that. We don't have enough time. So next slide. Next slide. Okay. So I'll even forget the four shot, but I'll keep on looking. I think you all know Islam. That is what our modern living is. Okay, it's okay. Next slide. You can skip this. So we talked a little bit about self-month. Go back to the one before. So I think next a little bit about reminding mantras and prayer to Ishwar. Fourth, fifth, I'll skip. Next slide. So I mentioned to you that all the mantras which we're mentioning so far, they're all reminder mantras. Whenever bad things comes in your mind, focus on going back to reality of present. So after making one's best effort, then I think his prayer is perfectly okay. Ask Ishwar for help. And that's where the prayer part comes in. Both Swadhyay and Ishwar prayer to coming you back to the reality. Next slide. This is one of my mantras which I like, which basically acknowledges that I'm failing. I have to bring it back myself to reality. I'll skip that too. Next slide. Skip this one too. Skip this slide too. So next one, keep on going. Keep going. This is one of my favorite months for me as a reminder month I like. Basically, Atu Eli Manana Tekve Dakai, we say, Jokta Suryam, we say, and I'll give the meaning in next slide. No, I think it has some next slide. Oh, yeah. So, Atu means may willpower fully come and re-enter your mind and soul. Daksha may you become strong and dexterous and capable of doing 12 deeds again. May you start living your life again with joy, peace, and hope instead of being discouraged and depressed. So it's here says, let willpower come back into you again. You be the controller and not, other things be controlling. But also, dakshta means do something with, with dexterity, which also can mean do in a quality way. Just don't do dive dhale karke nahi. Do something, bring it back reality, and then live in a good life in a strong way, and do everything in a quality way. That is Arya Samaj motto. Motto: move forward with success, and then start living. Okay, and that's where joy comes in when you live this kind of life in the present with success as your goal. You'll find joy, peace, and hope instead of being discouraged. And this is sort of very nice yoga Suryam to say. That means it's got, you can do many meanings of that, but it's when you come out of darkness, you start looking at sunlight again. That is metaphor. Other is become enlightened and connect with the world again, connect Ishwar forever, and start living. And next slide. And this is the summary slide. We say basically we all know that one day we and everyone we know is going to die, but this should not frighten us. I think this is time. Sorry. Okay. It's okay. I think I'll speak loud enough, maybe. Because none of us know when that will happen. No, this is that too. Instead, this should free us from live in the present, because this moment we clearly have. The past is gone, the future is uncertain, but we always have the present to live in reality. Therefore, we should follow Vedic teachings. Okay. Therefore, we should follow Vedic teachings and focus on living the reality of present with optimism, make personal progress in life, and be calmer, more peaceful, and happier, as well as those who are close to us and others in the society. So, next slide, I'll stop with that. Somebody's already done. But there's a whole subtle level of mind calmness too, which comes with yoga only. I don't have the time, but the slides are available, as I said, to all of you. There are about 10, 12 more slides, but I was given 20 minutes. My 20 minutes are over, and I'll stop right there. Thank you.